Hello, I'm Sean of the Lore Hunter, and today I'm talking about Shadows Die Twice. Shadows Die Twice was announced by a teaser at the Game Awards in December 2017 and is an important release for Fromsoft for two reasons. It will be the first title announced that started development after Hidetaka Miyazaki, director of Demon's Souls and Dark Souls, became president of Fromsoft. Also, it will be the first title to be released after Miyazaki announced that he was done working on Dark Souls games, after the release of Dark Souls 3: The Ringed City in April 2016. Many, myself included, see this as an articulation point for Fromsoft and are eager to see what else the studio that created the Souls games can do. With E3 2018 a week away from the time of this recording, I wanted to refresh myself on what Fromsoft has said about what games they're developing, what information we have about Shadows Die Twice, and what that might mean for E3 2018. To start, I want to travel back in time to July 2014, just after Miyazaki became president of Fromsoft. In an interview with Weekly Famitsu, Miyazaki stated, "I feel that Fromsoft's title lineup will need a little more variation. We have dark fantasies like Dark Souls, of course, but I'd also like for us to make more mech games like Armored Core or Asian-style games like Tenchu or Otogi, Myth of Demons. Fromsoft used to have a lot more rather quirky titles." I bring this quote up to establish that Miyazaki is clearly interested in mixing up the Fromsoft Souls formula that has dominated their work for almost a decade, going so far as to cite mech and Asian-style games as potential avenues for development. Now we are going to leave 2014 behind and find ourselves in June 2016, where Miyazaki lays out in an interview with 4Gamer what titles Fromsoft has in development. He says that they have three major projects for the future. Project 1 is an action role-playing game with a dark fantasy setting similar to Dark Souls, but approached from a different angle. Project 2 is a reboot of an existing franchise, with ideas inspired by Dark Souls and other previous franchises. Project 3 is a brand new IP that's something different from what the company has done previously, and he describes it as a bit weird. So, which of these titles is Shadows Die Twice? Just a few days before the Shadows Die Twice teaser premiered, Fromsoft tweeted out in December 2017 that "There is nothing we can announce now, but we don't intend to end the Armored Core series as it is, so we'd be happy if you could wait a little longer." So, that pretty solidly places title number 2 as an Armored Core reboot. While Shadows Die Twice could theoretically be title number 3, the tone of the Shadows Die Twice teaser felt more in line with the dark fantasy of Dark Souls than a strange project going in a different direction than previous titles. That means that we can speculate with some confidence that Shadows Die Twice is likely to be title number 1, a dark fantasy action RPG that is similar but different to Souls. So with that in mind, is there anything else that the teaser tells us? Not anything solid, really. The actual footage of the trailer takes up about 13 seconds and is a close-up static shot of a bloody device of some kind that is manipulated off-camera in the foreground, and Japanese or Chinese script, and a chisel with wood shavings in the background, accompanied by some Japanese instruments. This all fades away to reveal the phrase Shadows Die Twice, which seems to be a tagline or working title, as From have not referred to this as anything other than an upcoming project. However, as you can imagine, the ambiguity and lack of context present in the teaser did not dissuade people from speculating. The most prevalent theories are that Shadows Die Twice is a sequel or spiritual successor to Bloodborne, Tenchu, or Kuon, or that it is an entirely new IP. And within the context of the teaser, any of these theories are plausible. That being said, there have been some additional rumors. The first one came from Reset Era in March 2018, stating that Shadows Die Twice was more or less Kuon 2. While the content of the post seems to be hearsay, apparently a mod confirmed that the source was legitimate, but that's up to you if you believe that. Then, just a few days ago, there was a supposed leak on 4chan that claimed Shadows Die Twice was a spiritual successor to both Bloodborne and Kuon, taking place in a setting resembling ancient Japan. The user, known as a man, went on to provide even more information. The post on 4chan was rather long and disorganized, so what I've done is separate the leaked information out into categories and organize them in the form of a summary. Generally speaking, the leak says that it will be an action RPG set in a place resembling ancient Japan, pulling from Japanese mythology with a horror twist. It will draw inspiration from Bloodborne and Kuon, and it will get a trailer and gameplay at E3 2018. As far as gameplay is concerned, the leak says that Shadows Die Twice will have Souls-like gameplay similar to Bloodborne, except not as fast, but more brutal. There will be weapons similar to trick weapons with as many as 3 forms. These weapons, or pairs of weapons, will have unique counters, as there will be no shield or offhand weapons. The right arm will be a prosthetic that also functions as a grappling hook that allows vertical traversal and climbing. There will be skills in the game that can take the form of abilities, melee attacks, and magic. Also, enemies will lose body parts in combat and may spawn parasite enemies. As far as world design is concerned, Shadows Die Twice will have a more open world of large interconnected areas with multiple paths instead of the traditional area and boss setup of the Souls games. There will be dynamic weather and a day-night cycle in some areas. Night and rain will bring about stronger enemies. There is no co-op outside of some Chalice dungeon-like areas, and invasions in Shadows Die Twice will take the form of the invader taking control of a powered-up enemy in the world. The story of Shadows Die Twice will focus on a doomsday cult that conducts experiments and rituals on farmers in order to prevent the end of the world. The validity of the cult's claims are ambiguous. Many of the enemies will be the result of the cult's experiments. Your character starts off as a heavily disfigured individual who is saved by a mysterious leader who gives you a new face and fits you with the previously mentioned prosthetic arm. So this leak is saying a lot, and could be very easily untrue. I would love to see another iteration of the trick weapon concept, and I would trust From to pull off the mythology and horror elements spectacularly. The idea of unique counters and customizing weapon moves through skills all sounds good conceptually. Vertical traversal and renewed emphasis on exploration would all be welcome and outside of what From has been doing recently, which would be interesting. But this should also be taken with a grain of salt. While a lot of it sounds good, it also sounds exactly like the sort of stuff that a troll might say to get people excited. One bit of leaked information I hope is true is that Shadows Die Twice will have a trailer and gameplay at E3 2018. So with all this information and rumors, what can we expect from Shadows Die Twice? I think what we can pretty safely say is that it will be an action role-playing game with a dark fantasy setting similar to Dark Souls, but approached from a different angle, as the title number 1 mentioned by Miyazaki. My second prediction is that while it will have a dark fantasy setting similar to Souls, it will be an Asian-style title to add more variation to Fromsoft's lineup. I think that Shadows Die Twice is going to function somewhat as a bridge between the Souls series and what FromSoft would like to do in the future, as they try to add more variation, as Miyazaki expressed. And finally, I think that it will appear with a full trailer at E3 2018. After the Shadows Die Twice teaser premiered at the Game Awards, Yasuhiro Kitao, who formerly worked for Sony on Bloodborne and now works for From Software, tweeted out that he was very excited to have the project revealed and that we would hear more information about it in the next 12 months. While Kitao tweeted out this information about 6 months ago, I think E3 is a safe bet if they plan on releasing Shadows Die Twice in 2019, as would line up with their reveals for Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3. And with that, there is our pre-E3 2018 coverage of what we know about Shadows Die Twice. Thanks for watching, and when we get actual information and I'm totally wrong, feel free to drop me a message and tell me how wrong I was. Thanks for watching.